Good evening, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. It's Baby Blair's first one this year, and we're going to be making corned beef hash. All right, as always, we're going to get started with our ingredients. So I made the corned beef last night in the Dutch oven, and I had about 2 pounds left over. So that's the brisket there, and I started to cut it up. And we're going to be making corned beef hash. And so what I do is I have my brisket I'm cutting up. I got about a pound of gold potatoes. You can feel free to use whatever potato you like, but I like working with gold. I got half a large onion, or just a full small onion should be good. One red bell pepper, and optional over here, I have a couple of eggs that I'm gonna fry up with it. I'm gonna need a little bit of olive oil and a half a stick of butter. And in terms of seasoning back here, let's see, I got paprika, I got some ground mustard seed. I think I made like Italian the other night, or I can't remember honestly what I made, but I had a bunch of leftover oregano, so I'm gonna use fresh oregano. Typically I use dried oregano, but because I have it fresh, I'm gonna use it. So I always like to use fresh herbs when I have them on hand. And let's see, I got chives back there, and I got black pepper. You could also add salt, but I don't add salt to this because corned beef is pretty salty as it is. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start cutting up some of the ingredients. I'll check back in a few minutes, and we'll get started. All right, so the first thing I did was I cut up the corned beef and gold potatoes. I cubed them as best I could into approximately the same size. And the idea here is it's going to cook at about the same rate if it's approximately the same size. So I have this ready. I'm going to set these aside in a couple of bowls. And in the meantime, I'm going to cut up the red bell pepper and the onion. I won't do that on camera, but that's what's going to go into the cast iron skillet first. So you want to have a seasoned cast iron skillet on hand, and you want to cut up your veggies and set the skillet to medium heat and just put a little bit of oil in the pan. So I'll be right back when I start on the stove. So I cut up the onion and red bell pepper, and what I did was I put some olive oil in the skillet. I'm just going to throw some butter in there. It's been heating up at medium heat for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. So lower the heat a little bit. Let the butter settle in. And then I'm just gonna take those veggies and just dump them right down in there. All right, so we're gonna mix those in. Gonna give it anywhere between 3 and 5 minutes, depending on how hot the pan is. For me, it's usually about 4 minutes. But yeah, no more than 5 minutes, I'd say. You just want to give them a head start. Just have your potatoes ready and your corned beef ready, and the spices I showed you earlier. So the next thing we're going to add in will be the potatoes. Some people do the potatoes and corned beef together at once. I give the potatoes a little bit of a head start. All right, I'll check back with you in a couple of minutes. Okay, so about 4 minutes has gone by. I moved the veggies to the outer perimeter of the skillet here, and has added a slightly more butter. And I'm going to add the potatoes in a few seconds, but I just want to add a little bit of that oregano first. So I want to mix that oregano in, let it release some of the aromatics right there in the middle of the pan or skillet. So give it somewhere between about 15-30 seconds. I got my potatoes cubed right here. I'm just going to dump those right in. And at this point, you can lower the heat a little bit. You still want it about medium. You don't want it too high. The idea is as we go along with this, we're going to gradually reduce the heat. And again, some people just put the corned beef and potatoes in all at once. What I do is I give the potatoes about 1 minute head start. The corned beef is already cooked, so just want to be careful not to overdo it when you cook it again or heat it up again. All right, so a little bit of time's gone by. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of the paprika. Got that mustard seed. Got the chives. Man, that smells really good. And I'll crack the pepper in a little bit. All right, now we're just going to bring it all together. Mix that in. Cool. And now, last but not least, got our corned beef. And if you need to add more butter or oil, you can do that. I'll probably add a little bit more butter in a minute. and you just want to mix it all together. So from here, medium heat, you can gradually lower it down low. It's gonna be about five minutes or so. But yeah, you want it to crispen up. So anywhere between 5-10 minutes. Just keep checking on it. Mix it around every few minutes. Add oil or butter as needed. So I'll check back with you in a few and see how it looks. Alright, 5 minutes has gone by. I'm just checking in with you. I think it's going to need a few more minutes. So it's starting to crisp up really good. I added some more butter. So I would say it probably needs about closer to 10 minutes. I got the spatula here. I'm just using it to really smush in the potatoes and the corned beef together. Yeah, pretty much almost there. I'll check back in a couple of minutes when it's done, and I'll show you the final dish. Okay, this is our final dish, corned beef hash. Hope you guys like this recipe, and have a happy St. Patrick's Day.